So heading into today's tutorial, we will be going over 5 knot patterns, specifically chain-like patterns. So I did spend quite a bit of time coming up with some macrame chain patterns that I would use in a lot of my patterns. So a lot of these chain patterns, if you keep repeating them, you can definitely use them for plant hangers, so along the posts of the plant hanger, or you can use them as layers in wall hangings. Not to mention, you could also use them in multiple other projects like keychains, belt straps, bag straps, etc, etc. I'm hoping you guys will find these knot patterns useful in incorporating them into your own macrame designs. And make sure if you guys do incorporate or are inspired by any of these knot patterns into your own macrame designs, to make sure to share with me on Instagram at BOCHINOT, since I would really like to see what you guys end up creating. And without further ado, let's begin. The very first pattern we're going to go over is an alternating half hitch chain pattern. You will need 2 long strands of cord at about 150 centimeters long each to practice this pattern, and we will also be attaching these 2 cords onto the dowel using lark's head knots to start this pattern. To begin, we're going to use the outer cords, the outer left and outer right cords, as working cords for a square knot. If at any time during this tutorial you are unfamiliar with any of the knots used, you can refer to my 50 knots and sentence tutorial or my BOCHINOT macrame knot series playlist, both available on my YouTube channel. Once the square knot is complete, we're going to move into our alternating half hitch knot pattern. So starting with the far left 2 cords, we're going to take the inner cord and make a half hitch knot onto the outer left cord. Then we're going to reverse the working cord and use the outer left cord as the working cord for a half hitch knot onto the inner cord. And keep repeating this back and forth for a total of 6 alternating half hitch knots. Now we're going to repeat the same thing on the right side, mirroring what we just did on the left, starting with the inner right cord as the working cord for an alternating half hitch knot onto the far right cord, and then switch working cords so that you're making a half hitch knot onto the inner cord. Keep repeating this pattern for a total of 6 alternating half hitch knots on this side as well. Once the alternating half hitch knot chains are complete, we will now finish off this first chain pattern with a square knot like we started off with at the beginning. And you are now complete with the first part of this chain pattern. All you need to do is repeat this chain pattern 2 more times below, and then you can see a chain will form. Here I have added the second chain link, and then here I have added the third. So the second chain pattern that we're going to go over is predominantly made with vertical lark's head knots. So to begin this pattern, you will need 2 strands of cord at about 200 centimeters long each to practice this chain pattern. And because you really have only 1 strand of cord on each side that is predominantly the working cord for the vertical lark's head knots, we want the inner cord here on the right side to be much longer than the cord on the outside, since the inner cord will be the one that is doing most of the knotting. So you have to do the same thing for the inner cord on the left side as well. To begin this pattern, we're going to start off with a square knot again, similar to chain pattern number 1, and then we'll go into making the vertical lark set knots. We will now take the inner left cord and we're going to make a vertical lark's head knot onto the outer left cord. Then repeat for another 3 vertical lark's head knots onto the same anchor cord with the same working cord. Once the left side is complete, and as you can see, it curves a little, starting from the top all the way to the bottom, and we're going to repeat the same thing on the right side, mirroring what we just did on the left, using the inner right cord as the working cord for 4 lark's head knots onto the far right cord. Now all you have to do to finish off this first chain link is to take the working cords in the middle as anchor cords this time and use the anchor cords as working cords to finish off with a square knot. To turn this pattern into an actual chain pattern, all you have to do is repeat this pattern a few more times. Here is the pattern repeated twice. And then here is the pattern repeated 3 times for a nice chain pattern. The third pattern we're going to go over is what I call a round double half hitch knot chain. And this is different than your typical double half hitch knot daisy chain because it is more round and symmetrical on both sides. You will also need 2 long strands of cord at about 150 centimeters long each to practice this chain pattern. To begin the pattern, we're going to start with the far left and far right cords, and we're going to cross one on top of each other and make sure that there's loops on the left and on the right side. Then taking the inner left cord, we're going to make a half hitch knot onto the loop on the left side. And then do the same thing on the right side. Then pull on those 2 inner cords to tighten this knot. Then with the cords from behind, so the inner left cord, we're going to make 2 double half hitch knots onto that top left cord. So make 1 double half hitch knot facing the inside of the pattern and then 1 double half hitch knot facing outwards. You'll see that the left side starts to curve. Then we're going to do the same thing on the right side, mirroring what we just did on the left. Then to close off this first round daisy, we're going to make that half hitch knot like we did when we started the pattern. So crisscross the top 2 cords over top of each other. Make sure there's loops on both sides, and then take the bottom cords and weave them on the left side and then on the right side. Pull on all the cords to tighten that knot. And you are now complete with this first round daisy chain pattern. So repeat this a few more times below and you will start to see a chain pattern form. So this is what the pattern looks like once there are 2 of these daisies, and this is the pattern once there are 3 of them. Moving on to this 4th pattern is what I call an oval double half hitch knot chain pattern, which is slightly longer in shape than the one that we had just made. You will need 3 strands of cord for this at about 200 centimeters long each, and then we're going to start off with the middle 2 cords first for this pattern. With the middle 2 cords, make a double half hitch knot facing the left side. So using the inner right cord as the anchor cord and the inner left cord as the working cord. Then we're going to take the outer left cord as the next working cord for a double half hitch knot onto that same anchor cord. So typically with these patterns, you continue on to the next cord on the left for a double half hitch knot, but I changed up this chain pattern by switching the cords. So we're going to start with the outer left first and then the inner left cord after that onto that same anchor cord. Then we're going to do the same thing on the right side, starting with the outer right cord for a double half hitch knot onto the middle right cord. Then take that next right cord from behind and make one last double half hitch knot onto the right cord. So to close off this oval pattern, we're also going to switch the cords first. So on the left side, we're going to start with the inner middle left cord as the working cord for a double half hitch knot onto that left anchor cord, but this time we're going to be making the double half hitch knot facing the right side. Then take the next cord to the left as a working cord for one more double half hitch knot to the right. Repeat on the right side, mirroring what we just did on the left, starting with the middle right cord as the working cord first. This particular knotting design keeps the cords to the outside of the chain pattern so that there is nothing crisscrossing in the center of the pattern. Then to close off this first chain link, we're going to finish off with one more double half hitch knot with the middle 2 cords facing the left side. All you have to do now is complete this pattern a few more times below to make the chain. This is what the pattern looks like once we add a second chain link underneath, and this is what the pattern looks like once there are 3. This 5th and last chain pattern is a bit of a unique one, and this is what I call a half hitch chain. Again, you will need 2 long strands of cord at about 200 centimeters long each to practice this chain pattern. To begin this pattern, we're going to take the middle 2 cords and make 1 double half hitch knot to the left, so using the middle left cord as the working cord. Then we're going to make a series of half hitch knot chains. So using the back left cord as the working cord, we're going to make 8 consecutive half hitch knots onto that top left cord. As you continue with the 8 half hitch knots, you'll start to see that the pattern will spiral on the left side. Then we're going to repeat the same thing on the right side. Using the back right cord as the working cord, we're going to make 8 consecutive half hitch chains onto that top right cord. So this is what the pattern should look like on both sides once it's complete. It curves to the outside of the pattern. Then to finish off this first chain, we're going to take the middle 2 cords and make a double half hitch knot to the left, like how we began the pattern. Then all you have to do is complete a few more chain links at the bottom to create a chain pattern. This is what the pattern looks like once you have made 2 of them. It kind of looks like a shell pattern, and then with 3 of these chain links. And that's a wrap with the 5 macrame chain link knotting patterns. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and click subscribe to stay tuned for more videos just like these ones. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you let me know below if there are other patterns that you guys want to see. I personally will be taking some of these chain link patterns and making baby pacifier clothes with them. So if you guys are interested in seeing how that turns out, make sure you follow me on Instagram for more pictures and tutorials on my macrame creations. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.